Hello. Hello. My name is Lisa from Lisa. Hi, Melly. My dog is talking. Hi. Say hi. Hello. Say hello. Hello, kitty. I gave her little haircut. So don't make fun of it. Okay? I'm doing a video. Okay? We just finished. Okay. So, what was I saying? Are you afraid to downgrade your lifestyle because of what other people might think? So, are you afraid to downgrade your lifestyle because of what other people might think? In today's episode, I'm going to talk about it. Let's go. So, my name is Lisa from LisaLanaOla.com. So, I have my notes. Ready? Let's be professional. So, are you afraid to downgrade your lifestyle because of what other people might think? Well, I'm going to tell you to get over it. Yeah, you just have to get over it. Forget about it. You got to grow up and do what you've got to do. It's as simple as that. It might seem hard. You might feel scared, but we still got to get it done, right? Got to get it done. So I'm going to talk about the first time that I had to downgrade my lifestyle. Downgrade. Okay, so downgrade meaning that you're at a certain level and you got to step down to get back up. Not meaning, okay, we got to go out there and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches for 10 years. No, it's you got to go back because you stepped up too high, too fast. You got to go back down a level just to get back up, right? And there's no shame in that. There shouldn't be any shame in that. And the reason why you might feel afraid is because you're scared or embarrassed, or you might feel like other people are going to judge you. And I'm here to just say, we got to do it anyway, right? We got to get it done. So I always like to share my story because I have lived whatever I'm talking. Whatever I say, I've lived through it, right? So I was a 21-year-old with a brand new baby, right? Brand new baby, 21-year-old, didn't know a lot about the goings on of finances and life and all that kind of stuff. So I grew up with my Jamaican grandmother, left the house, went off to college, did not finish, had a baby, and decided to go out there and get an apartment of my own, right? I want a 1-bedroom apartment. I'm going to take care of my kid. I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to be independent, and I am just going to be great. But then you realize that it's expensive out there. It's expensive. Life was expensive in 1999. I had to go out there and get a car. Had to make payments on that. Had to go out there and get an apartment. Had to make payments on that. Had to pay for gas. Had to pay for light. Had to pay for phones. Had to pay for groceries. Had to pay for a lot, right? And it was overwhelming. It was very, very overwhelming. But I knew that I could not sustain that kind of lifestyle. Like I did not want to just have to work to pay for an apartment, to pay for a car, to pay for groceries, to pay for all that kind of stuff. I did not want to have to work just to pay for those things, right? I wanted to actually enjoy life and enjoy my daughter. I couldn't just work to pay those things. I had to enjoy her as well. I had to show her life. So after about a year or two of doing that, I realized I was sinking. I wasn't able to do anything but work and pay bills. So I had to do the, what I didn't want to do, but I had to go back home. I had to go to my uncle's house. I let him know, like, I'm living and I wasn't happy and I couldn't afford anything. So I asked him if I can just live in his basement, if I can just stay there with my daughter. And he said yes. So I went to live in a basement apartment. It was unfinished, but I had to do what I had to do so that I wasn't buckling and falling down with the weight of bills, right? So that was the first time that I had to downgrade. And I'm trying to think back of how I felt. I didn't feel good. Didn't feel good going to a basement because I had a 1-bedroom apartment, but I felt good that I was able to be woman enough to admit that I couldn't sustain the life that I was living currently. I couldn't do it. So I had to just do that. And that's what I did. And it takes guts and it takes character to realize that, and to make the turnaround, make a U-turn and say, this is not something that I want to do. The next time that I had to downgrade my life, I was with someone at the time. We were renting an apartment in a house. We were renting the first floor of the house. It was a 2-bedroom apartment. And the landlord said they were going to sell the house, right? They were going to sell the house. We were paying, I think it was $1,500 at the time for a 2-bedroom back in like 2014, 2013. So the landlord said they were going to sell the house. I was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Because we were living good, So we had to buckle down. I had to buckle down and ask my mom if I can move in with her for a little while, because we did not want to go back to renting. I've always wanted to own my own home. So it was like, okay, yes, we didn't want to move, but it was like, okay, now we need to stop renting and upgrade our life and own for ourselves. So that's what we ended up doing. I ended up staying with my mom for, I think it was about a year, clearing up debt, getting our finances together, putting away savings, and just doing what we had to do at the time to just make it work. And that was a big downgrade, because I'm in New York. So I was in Queens at the time, and my mom lived in the Bronx and I worked in Queens. So every day I had to get on the subway for 2 hours and take the train from the Bronx to Queens to work. And I left work at 1 a.m. So at 1 a.m., sometimes I would get a ride. Someone would pick me up, or I would have to get on the train, take that 2 hours to the Bronx, 2 hours to the Bronx every night on the train, 1 a.m., getting home at 3:30 a.m. just because of the goal that I had, right? Of owning my own home. So that I consider a downgrade, because it was such a struggle. It was such a struggle, right? But I knew that if I explained my goals to my mom, she would understand, which she did. And we had a plan to elevate. So it wasn't that we were going to stay stagnant, but we were going to elevate, right? And that is what I always want to just do, is just to elevate. So I'm going to give you 3 steps on downgrading your life so that you can upgrade, right? We have to downgrade and we have to not feel shame in it. So I'm going to give you 3 tips on downgrading your life and not feeling shame so that you can elevate. So the first tip is to look at your budget. Can you get rid of your largest expense even for a little while and use that money to save and pay debt? So what that means is, when I first downgraded when I was 21, I got rid of my highest debt, which was my apartment. It was $1,000 at the time. Got rid of it and was able to have money to live after that. The second time I downgraded, we didn't purposely get rid of the $1,500 apartment, but we had to. Like they were going to sell the house, so we had to. So we got rid of that $1,500 expense, and we were able to put that towards debt, towards savings, toward whatever it is. And we didn't have to pay the light, the electricity, the gas, and all that. So we were able to use that to downgrade the lifestyle and to use that money for the upgrade later on. So look at your expenses and see where you can cut costs. And I always recommend that if you are able to live with your parents, if you're in your 20s, 30s, in your 40s, you're more sustainable or whatever, or even if you have to at that point, whatever it is that you have to do. but you live with a family member to save some dollars so that you can upgrade. Because if you're going to struggle to pay $1,000 or $1,500 rent every month and you're not able to save anything, what's the point in going that route? I never understood that. Downgrade so you can upgrade, and don't be ashamed of it. So if you can get rid of your largest expense or get rid of some expenses in order for you to elevate, then do that. And don't be ashamed of that, because if you get criticized by anyone for doing that, that person does not care about you. And I can say that honestly with total 100% certainty. If you get criticized for downgrading your life to elevate, anyone that criticizes you does not care about you and your well-being. Okay? So just let it go. If you know someone doesn't care about you, they criticize you enough, that means that they don't care about you. Let it go, right? And don't worry about that. The second step is to keep focused on your vision. What do you want to accomplish? Keep your eye on the prize. So when I first downgraded when I was 21, my biggest priority was spending time with my daughter. Spending time with my daughter and making sure that I wasn't just doing back-breaking work. I wasn't just going to work every day to pay bills. I did not want to do that. Yes, I worked Monday through Friday. Yes, I worked a lot from 8 to 6 or whatever it was. But on the weekends, I made sure my daughter and I, we took trips. We went out to eat. When we would play games, we went to the park. We did whatever we had to do just to be, I did whatever I had to do just to spend time with her. So my goal at that point was to spend time with my daughter. When I downgraded for the second time, my goal at that second point was to own my own home. I've always wanted to own my own home. So have your goal in mind and know that no matter what anybody says, no matter what anybody does, you are working towards that goal, right? You are working towards that goal. Number 3, focus on yourself. Don't think about the Joneses or look at what anybody else is doing. Stay focused on you and what's around you. So what I did was, I didn't care. And I'm a big advocate for that. Like, I don't watch other people's money. I don't watch what other people have. I focus on getting everything myself. I want what I want, right? So I'm going to push everything aside and I'm going to work on what I want to get. So put blinders on, cut everything off and just put blinders off. So for example, my big thing is if you're in a crunch, right? And you can't find money for something and you have cable, cut the cable. Cut cable. Don't even think about cable. Don't worry about it. Don't think about it. Just push it from your mind, right? But don't worry about what the Joneses has and all this other kind of stuff. If you cannot afford it, you cannot afford it because you're trying to elevate your life. You're trying to build your savings, pay down debt, and do what you have to do, right? So that's that. So even currently, I just want to explain my current situation and let you know that there's no shame in the game. So I have a goal of owning another home. I love property. I love owning property. I love the equity that you get from property. I love it. When I bought my first house, I just love the process of buying the home and I want another one. So now what I'm trying to do is cut costs and bring everything back, clear up all the debts and all this kind of stuff and do whatever I have to do to own another home. So that means renting out a room in your home. I had to rent out a room in my home, or, whatever it is that you have to do, you have to get it done in order to see your vision come to fruition, right? So if you have a goal of saving $20,000, know that you have to cut. Don't be ashamed. Don't be afraid to cut, whatever it is, cut, and just know that you just have to cut costs and you have to do what you have to do to get what you want done. So I have a goal. I know you have goals and you need to reach them. Do the 3 things, the 3 tips, follow the 3 tips that I have and you will be well on your way. So don't be scared of downgrading to upgrade, because once you're upgraded, They're gonna be jealous, baby. They're gonna want to know, what were you doing? What did you do? And that's the thing. People always want to know what you did after the fact. They didn't know how hard of a struggle you had to struggle, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy taking that downgrade, but it's what we have to do in order to upgrade, right? I'm proud of you and I'm rooting for you, and I wish you the best of luck in your journey. Don't forget to subscribe and let me know in the comments what you want to upgrade to. What's your goal? What is something that you want to accomplish? Let me know in the comments. I'm rooting for you.